Let's bring in now Congressman Adam Schiff, the Democrat from Burbank, chair of the House Intelligence Committee, member of the January 6th committee, who led today's hearing. Congressman, welcome. Obviously, these happened in the middle of the day here in Southern California when maybe not everybody was watching every minute of this. What do you think is the big, most important, simple takeaway from today's hearing?
Well, the simple takeaway is Donald Trump lost the election. He created a big lie about massive fraud to try to explain his loss and overturn it. And he used that lie to pressure state legislators, state elections officials, to attack even local election workers, uprooting their lives, subjecting them to death threats. And they stood strong. And for that reason, the system held. But what he did was premeditated. It was unconstitutional, unpatriotic, un-American, and I'm glad the country got to see the heroes who stood up to him and also see the terrible impact on their lives.
Rusty Bowers, he was there, one of those gentlemen in that box there, Arizona House Speaker. He's a Republican, Trump supporter. He voted for Trump. He was part of today's testimony live. Here he is on why he wouldn't go along with overturning Arizona's votes.
What would you have me do? And he said, just do it and let the court sort it out. And I said, you're asking me to do something that's never been done in history, the history of the United States. And I'm going to put my state through that without sufficient proof, and that's going to be good enough with me? That I would put us through that, my state, that I swore to uphold both in Constitution and in law? No, sir.
Congressman Schiff, I know that you recently expressed some surprise by the fact that you were able to get so many people, namely Republicans, to go on the record for the committee. Why do you think that there has been so much compliance?
Well, I think people saw the terrible damage that Donald Trump did during his presidency and the danger it put our democracy in, and for many of them, their own lives were put at risk. Rusty Bowers, the Republican speaker from Arizona that you just profiled, he not only supported Trump, he campaigned for him, but he wasn't about to break his oath. And he talked about his faith in the hearing today and how, he felt he couldn't answer his maker if he violated what he knew to be sacred. And he felt that our Constitution was divinely inspired. You heard others like Brad Raffensperger, the Republican Secretary of State from Georgia, say, the president wanted him to recalculate the vote somehow, but there was no way to do that, no way to do it lawfully, and he wouldn't do it. And because of their courage and a number of others, we got through that challenge, but the danger continues.
It was quite something to hear from Shay Moss, who is this Georgia election worker, who was named by Rudy Giuliani and became this sort of scapegoat. At one point, they suggested that she was passing some sort of USB drive. In fact, she was passing a ginger mint, which was quite something to think about. She talked about how this whole thing changed her life. Here's more of that.
I don't want anyone knowing my name. I don't want to go anywhere with my mom because she might yell my name out over the grocery aisle or something. I don't go to the grocery store at all. I haven't been anywhere at all. I've gained about 60 pounds.
So this is for just being an election worker. And this is part of a bigger problem, right? We have protesters outside Brett Kavanaugh's house with death threats towards him. You have experienced a whole lot of death threats over the last several years, some directed towards your wife. Even us journalists get death threats now. I have stuff sent to me via social media. How does this stop? How do we put the genie back into the bottle? What do you think needs to change in terms of our society so that death threats are not the norm?
Well, it's a really important question because one of the hallmarks of our democracy is we go to the polls to settle our differences. But if it becomes a situation where whenever you lose or your candidate loses, that you're going to accuse the other side of fraud or call it illegitimate or threaten with deadly violence anyone who disagrees with you, then that's how democracies come to an end. One of the things that we hope by profiling these courageous people is that we can show the country the destructive impact of these lies and these threats and how they just upended people's lives. I mean, can you imagine, Elex, being so afraid you can't use your name or be with your mom because she might use your name in public? Her mother testified in deposition about how she had to shut down her business. They were struck by lightning. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. And just out of the blue, they became a target of the President of the United States. And it just shows you the crushing power of a president who's willing to use that power to destroy people that get in his way.
Yeah, you really do feel for both of those women. Okay, so earlier I asked you about the compliance that you have, you've gotten. The one person who we haven't heard from, of course, who seemingly is the star witness of all this, is former Vice President Mike Pence. Why not subpoena him? Is that going to happen?
Well, we've invited him to testify. We're still in conversation about trying to get his testimony. I can't speak for the committee about what we'll do if he declines, whether we'll try to compel him. But look, I would hope that people we saw today, these courageous public servants, they showed the importance, the patriotism of testifying. I would hope that he'd be moved by it, and he would similarly be willing to come forward. But so far, that hasn't happened, and I just have to hope that it will.
According to published reports, the next hearing is going to be held, led by Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger. It's going to focus on President Trump's pressure campaign at the Justice Department. Initially, there was some thinking that maybe Thursday's hearing would be the last, but that's not the case anymore, right? What are we looking at, and what kind of new information are you looking at now?
Well, in Thursday's hearing, Adam Kinzinger, my colleague, will lead us through the evidence about how there was an effort to essentially decapitate the leadership of the Justice Department and replace those Justice Department officials with someone named Jeffrey Clark, who was willing to do the president's bidding in every way. And as we heard from the teaser provided by our chairman today, there was a threat to the president that they would resign en masse before they would let him appoint someone of the lack of qualifications, someone willing to not uphold the Constitution but merely do the president's bidding. They would resign, and so I think you'll see just what Donald Trump wanted the Justice Department to do, and again, why public servants said, no, we're not going to do that. We won't violate our oath. We'll quit before we do anything like that.
All right, before we let you go, we know you have quite the day. You have another big day ahead of you tomorrow. A little birdie told us that it is your birthday tomorrow. So what's on the birthday list? What would be your ideal birthday day?
Well, my ideal birthday is, movies and dinner. So we did that for Father's Day. We went to see Top Gun, which is excellent. Went out for dinner with the family, and I would love to do that again on my birthday and go see another movie.
What's the best birthday gift that your wife, Eve, has ever gotten you?
Oh, my goodness. That was, I'll tell you, maybe this is it. During the pandemic, I had my 60th birthday, and she put together a video of my family and friends wishing me happy birthday.
That's nice.
And she knows I'm a huge Big Lebowski fan. At the end of the video, Jeff Bridges came on to wish me a happy birthday. And so the dude abided on my birthday, and what more could I ask?
My goodness, Eve, it's going to be hard to top that one. And by the way, Adam and Eve, how precious is that?
Yeah, that's their thing. The dude abides. All right, thank you so much, Congressman.
Happy
you
birthday.
had that on your drinking game for watching the show tonight, a Big Lebowski line. It's time to take a shot. We appreciate it, and obviously it's such a serious topic, and we look forward to more conversations with you soon on this. Thank you so much for sharing your views.
Thank you.